Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast.
Somebody has said that we sound muffled at times and whatever. Sounds fine in here.
Yeah, it does. Through the ears, through the computer, the broadcast, through the board.
Yeah, I don't have any clue about any of that sort of thing. We've only been here since 5 o'clock this morning trying to make sure that everything sounds good and works good.
I was getting beauty sleep at 5 o'clock.
You were?
Yeah, it didn't work, but I was.
I was going to say.
Michael?
Yeah, it's all your fault, Mike, again. All right, let's check in with a fellow by the name of Jon Vorisek. He's the CEO of a company called RepairSurge, RepairSurge.com. And the story goes like this. Americans holding on to their cars longer than ever, and the average vehicle on the road is now over 12 years old. Wow.
Yeah.
But at around 120 to 180,000 miles, every owner faces the same painful dilemma. I've been through it recently with somebody else. Should I fix it or should I finally sell it? Well, that's the magic question, isn't it?
Yep.
Using internal usage patterns across repair manuals for 10,000 plus vehicle models, RepairSurge analyzed which common repairs actually offer a positive return on investment and which ones signal it's time to let it go. Data reveals 7 repairs that almost always pay for themselves in extended lifespan and resale value. So, John, good morning to you, and thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm excited. Thanks
So
for
tell
having me.
us about your company. How did it start, and whose idea was this? Is it yours?
Yeah, it was mine. RepairSurge is an online platform that gives you the repair manual for your vehicle. It's all cloud-based, so you get the repair procedures, the diagrams, illustrations, parts information, wiring schematics, torque specifications, all that stuff. And because it's cloud-based, you can access it on any device. So you can be on your PC, your laptop, you can be out in the garage on your phone, and you can just access it basically anywhere you need it. And you can print stuff out too, but a lot of people just use their devices. So, and then another benefit of it being cloud-based is you get updates to all the information in real time. So parts prices get updated, service bulletins come out, even corrections to old data, you get all of that included.
So this is a subscription service?
Yeah, it is. So you can subscribe for, just depending on how long you think you're going to have the vehicle. So if you're not going to keep it for super long, you can subscribe for a year, but you do get a discount if you subscribe for 2 years or 3 years.
How much does that cost?
For 1 year, we're currently at $29. And then for 2 years, it's $48, and for 3 years, it's $57. So you get a pretty good discount.
Well, I was going to say, I'm kind of surprised. That seems like a pretty good bargain to me.
Yeah.
I think so.
Do you get a bulk
Right,
car?
see it that way.
What if you got
What
more
did you say,
cars? I'm wondering what if you have more cars?
If you have more cars, there's a 20% discount on any additional vehicles past the first one.
Yeah. So if you have something like a Jaguar E-Pace or something like that, you're really, you know what you want to do with it. You wish that you'd have never bought it in the first place, but you need to get rid of it. And at what point do you say, well, you see an in-cabin air filter that's 2 hours on the repair clock and the filter, and I'm going, that's enough to put in a new transmission.
For a $20 part.
For a $20 part. Sorry, I'm exaggerating, but you get the point.
Sure.
Because after you have a car for a while, you just really get tired of these little bitty nitpicking things that either go wrong with it or you got to get this service, and there's nothing cheap about any of it. You're going, I am so done with
Well,
this
you're
stuff.
prioritizing your maintenance. You're going to get the oil change, but are you going to change the filter every time on the air cleaner of the cabin? No, you're going to wait. And then you lose track of what it is. And pretty soon it's a brick of dirt, and you've got something else to repair.
Yeah.
So you prioritize. I'm going to do the brakes. Well, am I going to do the brakes this week or next week? So
A mistake that I made was, it's a cabin filter. I can change that. No, I cannot. Now, if I were...
change one of yours. Didn't I do one for you?
No, we looked at the one on the Jag.
Oh, that's right.
We looked at the one on the Jag and going,
We had to
Well,
take the
that's-
fenders off or something. Yeah.
it's absolutely ridiculous on this particular Jaguar. You would think you'd open the glove box, there's a little compartment in there and slide the new
Yeah.
filter in. No big deal.
No.
No, not on this thing.
Yeah, you get that a lot
I've
with,
never known of a British built anything that was easy to work on.
Yeah. Well, and the engineers who design the vehicles, sometimes you wonder, they do a great job, but sometimes you wonder with specific choices, how they factored that in. A simple repair sometimes, if you have to take apart, half the engine to get to something, or you have to take off
Right.
the whole dashboard to get to something, it gets kind of out of hand. And to be fair to them, they're designing for the techs at their dealerships where they have all the tools and they're trained on those specific vehicles day in and day out. But yeah, it can be a bit much sometimes.
Yeah. Um, so what about do-it-yourself oil changes? I mean, I used to change my oil in all of my cars.
Yeah.
Now I can't even get under the car anymore. Of course, I own a car that's about 6 inches off the ground, but that beside itself. I mean, let's just say I've got a Chevy 1500 half-ton pickup truck. Plenty of room underneath there. There's the drain plug. Get under there and do it yourself. I mean, how do I justify buying your service, your what you have to offer, in a guy that is a do-it-yourselfer kind of like me?
Well, a lot of people aren't doing their own oil changes. I've been kind of surprised at the lack of interest in doing that. It just, once you factor in the cleanup and the disposal, we find that a lot of people just, they would just rather have somebody else do it.
Well, the disposal to me is the biggest problem. You got to capture it, and then you got to take it someplace
Yeah.
to dispose of it.
Yeah, you can't just dump it in the yard, right?
No, shame on you if you make a mess in the trunk of the car with a gallon of oil.
All over the sidewalk. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But we do have a lot of do-it-yourselfers who use our product. Actually, that's primarily what our user base consists of. We have professional techs also, but a lot of do-it-yourselfers, and that's how we started out, is addressing that market.
How did you start out? What gave you the mojo here to start this company and go for it?
Well, I was a manager actually in a Midas auto repair shop here in Michigan when I was younger, and then I kind of had a hobby level interest in software development, and kind of as a hobby, I created this early software tool with a really catchy brand name. It was called Automotive Diagnosis and Repair CD. So kind of a mouthful, but it was basically just general troubleshooting tips and maintenance guides. I wrote it all myself, and I packaged it into a Windows software tool on a CD-ROM. Cloud-based stuff was really early then. And I just sold it on eBay. And it sold well enough that it kind of proved the concept. I also got a lot of interesting feedback from buyers explaining exactly what the product didn't have that it needed. And so that kind of drove me to create the second version and the third. And now, 23 years later, we're a fully cloud-based platform. We have vehicle-specific information for just about every vehicle on the road. All the kind of information I mentioned before, the procedures, the diagrams, the specifications. And that's all been kind of driven by that recurring theme of every time we've done something, the response has been better, but we still have those customers who we consider to be a blessing, who tell us, hey, I'm not happy with some aspect of this thing, and then we know what to work on, and we try to improve on it over time.
Would one of those people happen to be your wife, John?
Not usually. She doesn't work on cars, so I've been fortunate.
That's why you chose this way to go, because she's not going to participate in it.
Yeah. Fortunately, that hasn't been a source of strife in our marriages. My product falling short for her use case.
Exactly.
So whereabouts in Michigan are you?
I'm in Lansing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but
Isn't that the whole home of Buick?
it could be.
Yeah, there's GM has as you guys probably know, has a pretty heavy presence around here. So
Yeah, the tech center's up there too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, very good.
So I can see how this could be really helpful. I've got 3 granddaughters. All 3 of them go to college. All their cars are over 10 years old, and they run between 110 and 150,000 miles on them. So there's something always going wrong with their car. I mean, some of it you just got to fix just to keep it rolling, to keep them going to school. But I find it interesting some of the information you say you can go in and look at to determine how far you want to go with that particular car as far as the ROI goes.
Yeah, that was a question I've been interested in for a while, actually. And so we have access to a lot of data and the ability to analyze it. And so we looked at 2,400 data points, essentially, that we collected for different repair scenarios for a selected sample of typical used vehicles and we based the data in terms of pricing data on the average of 3 sort of average cost of living areas. And we applied what I think is a pretty simple decision framework, and it's kind of hard to disagree with, to those scenarios to see in how many of them it would make sense to repair the vehicle and keep it, or repair it and consider selling it, or repair it and definitely sell it, or sell it without repairing it. And those are kind of the 4 buckets that we grouped those scenarios in as we analyzed them.
See, for me, it would be useful. I had a car that wound up in a divorce thing and all of that, but it was a very nice car. And right as we were getting divorced, the transmission decided to take a dump. And what do we do? Because the transmission, it was a Lexus RX 350. And the transmission was expensive to repair, and especially expensive if you got to replace it.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought, well, the car had enough miles on it. Do we fix it, or do we just let go of the car as is? And wound up pretty much giving the car away, letting the repair facility actually spend their own money on the car, and then they sold it. And
Sure.
But we didn't have a system like you offer, so I really didn't know what to do. And I didn't. The ex-wife needed a car. Well, what should I advise her to do? I mean, it wasn't some sort of a hateful kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that
Right.
at all. And so you can understand the dilemma that I was faced, because I didn't want anybody to get screwed on a car. I didn't want to take the hit on the financial side of it, but I didn't want to leave the ex stranded on the highway somewhere because the transmission decided it was time to say goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah, it's those are tough scenarios, and people face that a lot. I think the simple decision framework that we arrived at is if the repair cost is less than 50% of the value of the vehicle, then it's kind of a no-brainer. Repair it, keep it. This is assuming you're not already intending to sell the vehicle, right? If the repair cost is 50 to 75%, then you still need to repair it, but consider selling it and factor in the overall health of the vehicle, your appetite for further repairs, how well the let's say the previous owner maintained it, because certainly you're maintaining your vehicle, right? But how the overall maintenance history of the vehicle and how confident you are in the vehicle's health. If it's 75 to 100% of the value of the vehicle is what the repair is going to cost you, then repair it and definitely sell it, because you're at that point where further repairs are going to almost certainly tip you over 100% of the value in pretty short order. And then if you're obviously over 100% of the value of the vehicle, you just sell the vehicle, and at that point it's sort of mathematically totaled from a repair perspective, right? So
that would fall into the hoopty category.
Yeah. So you sell it as a mechanic special, or you sell it for parts. You sell it to somebody who is willing to take on a project, with full disclosure and them understanding what they're getting into. And the reason those middle 2 categories we say repair it, even if you're going to sell it, is because, we all know this. If you sell a vehicle that has issues, you're going to take the hit either way, right? You're going to pay for the repairs indirectly because you're going to get less for the vehicle. And then you're going to have what we call the uncertainty tax, where the buyer is going to factor in their inconvenience for the fact that they have to get it repaired, the risk of it not being exactly what you think it is that's wrong with the vehicle, and maybe they're getting into, more expensive territory. So you're gonna take a hit on the value just because of the repairs and then some. So we believe you should always be repairing it unless it's at that point where it's kind of mathematically totaled. And then the question is, are you going to keep driving it or consider selling it or definitely sell it after the repairs?
Hey, John.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Morris.
Real quick before we run out of time. I'm kind of envisioning this like my granddaughters. Okay, we decide it's reached the point we want to sell the car. We get it fixed enough to sell it. And we're looking for another car. Now, I realize you can't necessarily look at a specific car, like maybe Carfax or somebody can. But would your tool be valuable as saying, okay, I'm looking at a Honda Civic, and it's got 90,000 miles on it because I got to buy 3 cars. You know how that goes. Would your tool be useful in helping make decisions in that regard?
Yeah, so we actually thought about, and to be clear, this is more of a data study that we did as opposed to a tool, although we are considering building this out into a sort of calculator on our site, at which point it would definitely be a tool. But to your point, we actually considered looking at it from that perspective for the total analysis. And the tricky part was, like you said, if we were to repair the cost of continuing to drive the vehicle with the repairs and sort of the cost of ownership factoring that into a different vehicle, that would give us a good basis for making that decision. But we don't know what vehicle somebody's going to choose for that other vehicle, right? So we can't do the math on that. But I think you're exactly right. If you have an idea what kind of vehicle you're going to get into for the next one, then you can look at what your cost of ownership is going to be on that vehicle and compare it to how many more miles you expect to get out of the current vehicle, knowing on average, a well-maintained modern vehicle, you'll maybe get 200,000 miles before you're really in the danger zone. And compare the two, right? And if you reach that point where it's your cost of ownership per the miles you're going to get out of the new car outperforms what you're going to get in the current car, that kind of informs that decision. I think that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, just another tool to help.
John, so I assume that RepairSurge.com has all of the information that we need to find out more about what you have to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. I encourage anybody to check it out if you're in need of a repair manual for your vehicle.
And your marketing people will appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I appreciate it too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Jon Vorisek,
Thank you.
CEO
Thanks,
of
guys.
RepairSurge.com. All right. Coming up, we have the racing calendar, got auto history, and some news headlines. Right here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We're back after this.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Loopy Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Loopy Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Loopy Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Loopy Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Loopy experience with queso flamiado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Loopy beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Loopy Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Loopy Tortilla, he's pretty good. Apple or Android, In Wheel Time podcast can be found everywhere, on the stream and through downloads. Whether you're on the road or at home and jonesing for a different kind of car talk show, give In Wheel Time a try. Honest new car reviews, fun, informative interviews with real car people, weekly automotive news, features like Jeff's Car Culture and Mike's Driving Destinations, all on In Wheel Time. Check us out on SiriusXM Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or while you're shopping on Amazon, through Amazon Music. InWheelTime.com has a list, and we know you love lists.
Welcome back to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Time now for Jeff's racing calendar.
Yeah.
I think all we can find now is Santa Claus and sleigh parked on the first turn, and that's about it.
Yeah, and are we sponsored in this? I'm not sure.
I think it's sponsored by the Texas Muscle Car.
There you go. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, not a lot of racing going on, but I do want to give you some updates on the racing folks. Formula One and the FIA have officially confirmed sweeping technical changes that will reshape how cars will race when the new regulations take effect in 2026. And this is for F1. The overhaul targets lighter machinery, smarter aerodynamics, revised approach to overtaking, making one of the most significant evolutions of the hybrid era. Under the new rules, the F1 cars will become smaller and about 15 pounds lighter. The reduction is designed to improve the agility and efficiency while addressing long-standing concerns over the increasing size and mass of their cars. Next one we have is Jon Vorisek Racing in the NHRA area. We just had Antron Brown. We didn't get a chance to mention it, but he's turned one of the most turbulent off-seasons in the NHRA memory through the opportunity of handing the Cornwell Tools funny car seat to Jordan Vandergrief after the Austin Prock's departure. The other driver left, so Jordan's coming into place. The move not only fills a high-profile vacancy, it also signals how Jon Vorisek's organization intends to evolve in the first phase of its post-force driving era. He'll have a veteran tuner, Chris Cunningham, and rising star crew chief Jason Bunker repairing the car, which just might have to change its reputation from the Prock Rocket to the Bunker Busters.
Rocket.
That's what they called it. And lastly, NASCAR has determined a winner and a loser in their charter system. It's more of a franchise thing. NASCAR is going to have to take a bullet bite and honor some of the requests that the drivers and the teams want. No more taking their money.
Well, NASCAR is in a big mess right
They
now.
got a little challenge going on next year.
All right, Mr. Mars, time now for This Week in Auto History, and I know that you've got some stuff lined up for us.
We've got about 7 things that we really found were interesting this week, although, like you say, the industry kind of shuts down this time of year. So this week, Henry Leland founded the Lincoln Motor Company in Detroit. Now, what I found really interesting about this was that it was initially started to build aircraft engines for World War I. And it wasn't until after the war that Lincoln shifted to luxury automobiles, and they got a really big reputation because of their engineering with the motors. They became really good engineers with the whole car. Now, they were bought by Ford in 1922, and it continues to be Lincoln's premium division of cars. Then, this week in 1935, the first parking meter was installed. Now, this was done in Oklahoma City, of all places, and it was done to manage traffic, to get people to come in, do your business, and get out and make room for somebody else, kind of like a restaurant runs. And another note, that even though this was controversial because everybody thought, well, the roads are public, I pay for them on my taxes, I ought to be able to park where I want, when I want, went through all that business with some court cases, but the first parking ticket was issued also in Oklahoma City in 1937.
Then in Alabama beat Oklahoma, didn't they last night?
I think they did.
Yeah, just wanted to say that.
Yeah, we're not going to mention that.
Roll Tide.
Also this week in 1967, the Ford Mustang, again, introduced in 1964 and a half, but by 1967, they sold 10 million cars. 10 million Mustangs, that fast. And it was just a big hit, started the whole pony car segment. This particular car we're showing here was number 1, the very first Mustang that rolled out. And they acquired it because when they found the owner, the 1 millionth Mustang that was made, they traded it to the guy for this car, and that's how this one ended up back in the museum. Then in 1969, one of the things that everybody remembers is the Plymouth Superbird. Now, this was a very highly modified, short-lived version of the Plymouth Roadrunner. A lot of graphics, a lot of had the Roadrunner horn, beep beep type thing, and it was designed to run in NASCAR. Now, the year before, the Dodge Charger Daytona had run in 1969, very successful. They only had to produce 500 of the Daytonas because when it was so successful, NASCAR changed the rules. So they had to make more of them, one for every car dealership they had, which meant that the Daytona had to make over 1,000 cars just to be able to run. That's the reason they only did it for 1 year. And another interesting note, you'll notice that this car has a vinyl top. Except for the ones that were built for the race car teams, all of the Superbirds had vinyl tops. The Daytonas did not. What they found was, to get them all out in time, they quit finishing the top, where the top meets the body lines, the seams. It was easier to just cover them with vinyl than it was to smooth it out for paint. The cars came with either 426 Hemis or 440 cubic inch engines with a 4-barrel or a 6-barrel. And it's believed that there's about 1,000 of them left out on the road somewhere. 1970, the EPA sets first auto emission standards. Now, this is where the EPA came in, decided what the automakers had to do. Of course, that's what started the downturn as far as the horsepower goes into the muscle cars, killed all that stuff, and kind of brought in catalytic converters and all the wonderful things that we have now to help control our smog. December 2009, General Motors announced it would shut down Saab. Now, Saab was founded in 1937. In Sweden as an aircraft manufacturer, and it was after the war they got into building cars, and they Chevrolet bought them and used them as far as some of their makes and models to bring into the country. This is the first Saab 92 that was done in 1949 when they switched from airplanes over to cars.
I'm sorry. What an ugly car.
Yes, it is. And you'll notice that even the newer ones looked almost like this. They like that design for some reason.
Saab.
2015, last one. 2015, Volkswagen reaches Dieselgate settlement. Now, this was really important because a lot of people went to jail. A lot of people paid a lot of money fines. One guy got arrested in a restroom at an airport in Florida trying to get out of the country before the FBI grabbed him, but they got him. And they offered to buy back 500,000 2.0 liter vehicles in the United States as part of the settlement for this. And it really changed the way they were monitoring how manufacturers did their emissions testing. And that's this week in automotive history.
Wow. Well, that was quite a fun little trip down memory lane. Saab. I don't know anybody. Well, I probably know people that had one, but they didn't say that they had one.
Yeah, they wouldn't admit it.
No, nobody admitted it. Only a few people on TV.
On tariffs, the future of North American trade and new duties on robotics loom for the auto industry in 2026, offering potential clarity on a policy landscape that has upended the planning of automakers and suppliers. U.S. Supreme Court in the first part of 2026 is expected to rule on the legality of many tariffs enacted by President Trump earlier this year. And the future of North American trade will come into focus as the United States, Mexico, and Canada review their trilateral trade agreement that Trump suggested the U.S. could abandon. At the same time, the Trump administration has signaled it could pursue a wide range of new tariffs, including in industrial robotics and critical minerals. New tariffs will likely weigh heavily on auto companies as they decide how to adjust production and investment plans, according to experts. Volkswagen of America will not offer the ID Buzz minivan for the 2026 model year as the automaker grapples with tepid demand and a challenging environment for electric vehicles in the U.S. The move caps what has been a difficult year for the Germany-built model, which faced high import tariffs, a pair of embarrassing recalls, one of them with the seat, the elimination of the $7,500 tax credit toward an EV purchase. EV demand has largely collapsed since the tax credit, a major draw for first-time buyers, expired at the end of September.
Wow.
You know how much that car was like a bunch of money.
I'm going to find out how many they made, so keep going.
Well, that's the end of that story.
All right.
CarMax plans to aggressively pursue $150 million in savings in the coming months as it seeks a new CEO who can help counter drops in net income, sales, and revenue. Net income for the fiscal 2026 third quarter dropped 50% to $62.2 million, the company said. Revenue declined 6.9% year over year to $5.8 billion. The results follow similar declines in the previous quarter and years of stagnant earnings, which led to the firing of longtime CEO Bill Nash in November. And even though the Ram canceled its fully electric pickup truck, it's still possible to buy one version of the truck. Ram's merchandise website is offering a 2026 Ram 1500 Rev Hallmark keepsake ornament for $29.95 to hang on your tree. Die-cast metal truck, 4.5 inches long, 2 inches high. Features dated front and rear license plates and authentic detailing based on the 2026 Ram 1500 Rev, the site says. It's also available on Hallmark's website for 4 cents more.
Wow. Dodge is coming back to NASCAR.
Is that official?
I think it's been announced. They're warming up to it.
What are they going to run?
Yep.
Maybe they're going to run that 6-cylinder.
Ooh,
That wouldn't
Hurricane
surprise me.
6.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. Would it surprise you?
Yeah, because there's certain criteria for the motors. Yeah.
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 Well, the
It,
V8
it might win, and they wouldn't want that.
the V8 for Dodge was not competitive because of the degree of the alignment of the cylinders.
Yeah.
It's a long story, but they couldn't compete. That's why they dropped out. So, fine, don't change the rules. Just keep on keeping on. Not.
On the ID Buzz electric vehicle sales have been relatively slow. Like you talked about, 1,162 units were sold in the U.S. in 2024, and under 5,000 sold the first 9 months worldwide. So it's been paused.
Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. We're back after this quick break.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show now reaches 5.3 million folks each year. Check us out on InWheelTime.com, YouTube, Facebook, and podcasts available from your favorite go-to source, including our live broadcast every Saturday, 10 to noon Central Time. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show has informative automotive guest interviews, new car reviews, along with popular features including driving destinations, Jeff's car culture, latest car news, cruise-ins, and racing dates. It's all on InWheelTime.com. Join us. That's it for this podcast episode of the In-Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.